So in last lecture we discussed about uh, PAL architecture and how to implement a logic in PAL. With one example we also discussed that. So already we discussed that in PLD technologies there are basically four classifications in PLD technologies. One is PLA, Programmable Logic Array. Here you have the programmable AND plane and programmable OR plane. Now if both the planes are programmable, then for programming we require some switch, right? So now here in case of PLA, since both the planes are programmable, so switches are present in both AND plane and OR plane. Due to the presence of these switch, the propagation delay of the signal will be more. So to reduce this propagation delay, another technology was developed, and that was PAL, Programmable Array Logic. In PAL, the AND plane is programmable, but OR plane is fixed. So with this architecture, the propagation delay is somewhat improved, right? Speed of the operation of the flow of the signal is improved, but the flexibility is less because OR plane is not programmable. Now the third device in the same category is CPLD, Complex Programmable Logic Device. So CPLD contains many number of PAL type of structure. So now here in case of PLA, PAL and CPLD, all these three technologies, they have AND plane, OR plane. So the logic is implemented by using some of the product expression. Now in the PLD technology, the fourth category is FPGA, Field Programmable Gate Array. So this technology is entirely different from previous three technologies because in this FPGA there are no arrays of gates, just like PAL and CPLD and PLA type of structure. There are no array of the gates, right? So basic element in FPGA to implement our logic is lookup table, right? So this FPGA came in the market in 1984, right? And the first FPGA was manufactured by a company called as Xilinx, right? So this FPGA, first FPGA was manufactured by company Xilinx. So still this Xilinx is market leader in terms of FPGA. Other companies are also there who are manufacturing FPGA like Altera, Atmel, they are also manufacturing, but Xilinx is a market leader. So in this lecture we will discuss about the internal architecture of the FPGA and the routing algorithm. Routing algorithm means how signals are routed, right? How signals are routed from one place to another. So this is the internal architecture of FPGA. Now in FPGA you can see here there are some IOB blocks, right? There are some IOB blocks. So IOB means this is your input slash output. Blocks. So the meaning of IOV, input and output. Here these are the pins, right? So now suppose if this is one FPGA IC. So in this FPGA IC you can find there are various pins. So these pins are your IOB pins. So these are your IOB, input output blocks. So here any pin can be programmed as input pin or output pin, right? So any pin can be programmed as an input or output pin. It depends upon the user. He can program any pin as an input or output pin, right? Now if you go inside this architecture, then you can find um, there are uh, these lines, these horizontal lines are there, this type, right? These lines, horizontal lines are there, right? These type. Everywhere you can find this type of horizontal lines. These, these are horizontal lines. So these are these horizontal lines. Uh, these these are uh, horizontal interconnect arrays. So these are horizontal interconnect arrays. So there are many wires which are you can find horizontal wires, right? So these horizontal wires are called as horizontal interconnect arrays. Now same way you can see vertical wires like this, these vertical lines, right? Here you can find vertical wires are there, these type, right? These you can find many wires are there, vertical wires. So these vertical wires, right? These vertical wires are called as vertical interconnect array. Vertical interconnect array. Okay. So these wires are used for the routing of our signals, right? Let us assume, suppose this IOB block, I declare this IOB block as my input pin, right? So now from here I can send the input inside the FPGA, right? So now the input, these input can be moved through. So here you can see some vertical wires. You can see these vertical wires, right? How many vertical wires are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 vertical wires are there. So out of these 7 vertical wires, this signal will move in any one vertical wire. It depends upon the program which particular vertical wire is selected for the connection of this signal, right? So in this way, this signal will move through this vertical section. Okay, then it will reach to this CLB. Okay, so this CLB is configurable logic block. So this is configurable logic block. So you can see there is a two-dimensional array of CLVs, right? So there are many CLVs are there. So you can see this. There is this CLV, this CLV, this CLV, this. So there are many CLVs. So there is two-dimensional array of CLV, and CLV configurable logic block is used to store our logic, right? It is used to store logic, whatever logic we want to design, right? So that logic will be finally stored in this CLB, and inside the CLB the basic element to store our logic is LUT, right? So LUT means, I write here, uh, lookup table, uh, look up table. So our logic is ultimately going to store in lookup table, which is inside CLB, right? And for the communication of the data with this FPGA, there are various IO blocks, right? So input signals will if suppose we have programmed the IOB blocks as an input pin, then signals will go inside our FPGA through those input pins, and it will go into some CLV. Depending upon the inputs, whatever logic we have stored inside the CLV, some output will be generated, and again that output will be routed to the IOB block, which is programmed as an output. So from that output pin we will get our output. So in this way it operates. Now apart from these CLVs and IOB blocks, you can find here there is one block called as PSM. PSM means programmable switch matrix. So it is programmable switch matrix, right? So you can find PSM at very place. Generally these PSMs you can find only at the junction of vertical and horizontal wires. So you just see this PSM, this. So here the vertical wires are coming, these vertical wires are coming, right? And these are the vertical wires, right? These are the vertical wires, and there are horizontal wires. These are the horizontal wires, and here you find the horizontal wires, right? So PSM is available at the junction of horizontal and vertical wires. Few vertical wires you can find is there without PSM, right? You just see this vertical wire, this one. There is no programmable switch matrix, right? So these type of wires are called as long wires, right? So directly signal can be routed without using any PSM, programmable switch matrix, directly from one place to another. Same way you can find some horizontal wires which are there without, which are moving without using those PSMs, right? So these are long wires in horizontal direction, right? Okay. So now what is the purpose of this PSM, programmable switch matrix? So the purpose of this PSM is to route the signal, right? To route the signal. Now you take one example. Suppose this is the vertical wire, it is coming. This is one PSM, right? This is PSM, programmable switch matrix. here there is vertical wire, these are the horizontal wires. So suppose this is wire number 1, this is wire number 2, this is wire number 3, and this is wire number 4. Let us assume from the wire number 1, right, wire number 1, some signal is coming, right, some signal is coming from wire number 1. Now once the signal will reach to this PSM, now we have an option to move this signal either towards the wire number 4 or towards the wire number 3 or towards the wire number 2, right? Means we can route our signal which is coming from wire number 1 towards wire number 4, towards wire number 2, or towards wire number 3. So this routing will be done with the help of PSM, programmable switch matrix, right? So for this particular routing, what is done inside this PSM? Inside this PSM, there is the MOSFETs, right? MOSFETs are there for the routing purpose, right? Now already we know that. Now let us assume, suppose this is one MOSFET, right? This is one NMOS. This is one NMOS, right? Now see, let us see, this is some wire number 1. This is routing wire, right? And here this is routing wire number 2. So these are the wires, right? These are the wires, and in between these two wires one NMOS is connected, right? So one NMOS is connected between wire number 1 and wire number 2. Okay, now to turn on this NMOS, right, if here, so this is a gate, this is the gate of NMOS, right, this is the gate of NMOS, and if to the gate of NMOS, if you apply plus 5 volt, right, that is your binary 1. If we apply this binary 1 plus 5 volt to this NMOS, then your NMOS will become on, right? NMOS will become on, and once the NMOS is on, so this NMOS offers very low resistance. It offers very low resistance, right? So now if this NMOS is on, then how this whole circuit looks like? It looks like this. This is wire number 1, this is wire number 2, and in between we have NMOS. But now this NMOS is on, right? This is my NMOS. Now on NMOS acts as a short circuit because it has now very low resistance. Now if low resistance is there, so now we have connected the wire number 1 with wire number 2, right? So suppose if some signal is moving in wire number 1 in this way, so now this signal can pass through this MOSFET and it can reach through this to this wire number 2, right? In this way we can do the routing. Okay, so now suppose so in this way we are routing the signal from wire number 1 to wire number 2, right? For this, what we are doing, we are sending the plus 5 volt to the gate, right? So now what will be done to this gate, right? One SRAM is connected, right? One SRAM is connected, 1 bit SRAM. As we know that RAM is used to store the binary value, and since this is a SRAM, static RAM, So it can be programmable. Means if you have loaded here, if you are now suppose in this SRAM, you can store, suppose I have stored binary 1. This is a 1 bit SRAM. So you can store 1 bit value here. So if I have, by programming, if I have stored the binary 1 in this SRAM, right, then what will happen? This SRAM is connected to the gate, so this gate will get plus 5 volt signal, right, and this MOSFET will on. And if you want, and if you don't want the interconnection between wire 1 and wire 2, then simply what we can do, in place of making this NMOS on, you make this NMOS off, right? So you make this SRAM NMOS off. And how to make this off? In place of plus 5 volt, now what I will do, I will store in place of this 1 in the SRAM, now I will store logic 0 in the SRAM, means 0 volt. So now this SRAM is having 0, this 0 is connected, this SRAM is connected to the gate, so gate will get the 0 logic. If gate will get the 0 logic in NMOS, then this NMOS is off, right? Now if NMOS is off, then off, and NMOS offers very high resistance. It offers very high resistance. So if the resistance is high, then what will happen? Now here this is a NMOS, right? Now this NMOS is off, right? Now if this NMOS is off, so it offers very high resistance. So now there is no connection between wire 1 and wire 2, right? So in this way we can make or break the connections between wire 1 and wire 2. So what is the basics here? Between wire 1 and wire 2, there is one NMOS, right? If we want to make the connection between wire 1 and wire 2, then we will make our NMOS on, right? And if we want to disconnect the wire 1 and wire 2, then we have to make the NMOS off, right? And how to make the NMOS on and off? By applying plus 5 volt or 0 volt to the gate, right? For that, gate is connected to one SRAM cell, right, where you can store 1 bit. So in SRAM cell we can download binary 0 or binary 1, and accordingly we can turn on and off the MOSFET, which ultimately break or make the connection between wire 1 and wire 2. So this is the logic for routing of the wires, right? So now you see here, right. So this PSM, programmable switch matrix, it is like this, right? See, there are how many vertical wires? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertical wires, right? And horizontal wires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontal wires, right? 5 horizontal wires from this side, in this side also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and vertical wires at the downside also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now, so now you see here wire 1, horizontal wire 1, this, and this wire, horizontal wire 1, and you see the vertical wire 1, this and this, right? So there is a junction between these two, these horizontal and vertical wire number 1, and this is this junction, right? So now what will happen? It looks like this, wire 1. I am concentrating only on wire 1, vertical wire 1, here it is 1, horizontal wire 1, here it is 1, right? So here you are having the junction point, right? So this wire can be routed towards this side, or it can be routed towards this side, or it can be routed towards right side, right? Same way, same way, this wire which is coming from right side, this wire, it can be routed towards left side, it can be routed towards this side, or it can be routed towards this side, right? Same way, what I am talking about now, vertical wire which is coming from top, this wire can be routed to downside, it can be routed towards the left side, or it can be routed towards the right side, right? Same way, the vertical wire which is coming from the bottom, right? This wire, it can also be routed towards the right side, towards the left side, or towards the top vertical wire side. Anywhere these type of routing can be done. So for this type of routing, at for this type of routing, okay, for this type of routing, uh, at this junction, at this junction, at this junction, some this type of structure is there, right? This type of structure is there. See, uh, this is the wire coming from the left side, this is the wire coming from the right side, this is the wire coming from the top, and this is the wire coming from the bottom. Okay, so if we talk about this wire, right, if you want to route this wire towards the top vertical wire, for this there is this MOSFET, right, whose gate, this gate is having one SRAM cell, right? It is having one bit SRAM cell, and if you want to route this left side wire towards the right side, for this purpose you see here you are having this one, another NMOS, right? This is second NMOS which is used for the routing from left to right side or from right to left side. Okay, same way this MOSFET, it can be used to route left wire towards the top side, or top wire towards the left side. Okay, now this is also one NMOS with the SRAM cell. So what is the purpose of this third SRAM, third NMOS? What it can do? It can route the wire from coming from vertical side towards the right side, or a wire coming from the right side, it can route it towards the top, right? So in this way you can find here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Total 6 MOSFETs are there, right, at one junction. Okay, at one junction there are 6 MOSFETs which are used for the routing purpose. See, one MOSFET, second MOSFET, third MOSFET, fourth MOSFET, this is fifth, and this is sixth MOSFET. Okay, so now this type of structure is there at this one junction, and now see how many junctions are there. This is junction number 1, this is the junction number 2, this is the junction number 3, this is the junction number 4, this is the junction number 5, right? So at one junction we are having 6 MOSFET. At one junction we are having 6 MOS. So total how many MOSFETs are there now? We are having 30 MOSFETs. We are having 30 MOSFETs at one PSM, right? For this PSM, right? For this PSM we are having now 30 MOSFETs and MOS, right? And for another PSM, again here we have 30 MOSFETs, right? 30 MOSFETs. So how many MOSFETs are there in the PSM? It will be decided by how many these lines are there. How many these lines are there? These horizontal lines and vertical lines are there connected to one PSM, right? So in this way you can find that in this field programmable gate array there are many PSM structure, programmable switch matrix. So you can imagine, if suppose there are 1000 PSM structures, then you can imagine how many MOSFETs are prefabricated. Only thing is, now we have to only route the signal. We have to do the routing of the signal, right? For example, let us assume some signal is coming like this here. From here, sorry, we will talk about the PSM only. Okay, from let us assume this is my input, IOB is my input. From here some signal is coming, right? So it can move here. From here it can go to this side. From PSM it can be routed towards this side. From this PSM it can be routed towards this side. From this PSM it can come there here, and from here it can move to this CLB. So in this way we can route our signal, and for routing purpose MOSFETs which are there at the junction will be turned on or turned off with the help of some binary value which is downloaded in SRAM cell. So this field programmable gate array is that, as name suggests, it is field programmable. The meaning of field programmable is there is no need to take this FPGA to the foundry for the programming of our logic, right? We can do the programming in our lab, and suppose we have written the Verilog code of half adder, right? So we will generate one bitmap file, and that bitmap file will be downloaded in this FPGA, and the information in the bitmap file is sufficient to turn on and off certain MOSFETs, right? So that bitmap file will be loaded in the FPGA, and it will be used to turn on and turn off the MOSFETs for the routing purpose and for the implementation of our logic, right? So here same thing I explained. So this is a routing wire, these are the routing wire, and there is one NMOS, this is NMOS, and the gate of the NMOS is connected with SRAM cell, and here you can store binary 0 or binary 1. If binary 0 is stored, then this MOSFET will be off, it will be turned off, and if 1 is stored, then this MOSFET will be turned on, right? If MOSFET is off, then this routing is not there. There is no connection between these wires. If MOSFET is turned on, then you can find these routing is complete, right? So in this way routing will be done. So we will see one example here. Okay. So now you see during the programming what is done in this SRAM cell, 1 is stored, and in all other SRAM cells 0 is stored, right? So this will be done automatically by the programming, right? We will dump the program, and automatically some binary value will be stored in the SRAM cells. In this way it will be done. So if this way it is done, so now what will happen? This MOSFET is on because 1 is stored in the SRAM cell. So this MOSFET is on, right? So if this MOSFET is on, So now you see from here signal is coming. Now this MOSFET, this is on, so signal can be routed towards this direction, or it can be routed in this way also. So now there is a connection is established between this vertical wire and between this horizontal wire. So connection is established here. So it looks like this. So here you find one on MOSFET. One MOSFET is on MOSFET. At other places, MOSFET is off. This MOSFET is off, right? This MOSFET is off. This MOSFET is off. This MOSFET is off. And this MOSFET is off, right? And we have turned on only one MOSFET, this one. We have turned on this MOSFET. So now the root, so this on MOSFET will offer very low resistance, right? Like a short circuit. So now routing is completed, right? In this way, this routing is completed. At all other places, due to the off MOSFET, there is the open circuit, right? We see another example. So here I want to make the connection between this vertical wire which is coming from the top and bottom vertical wire. For that what I have to do, I have to turn on this MOSFET and remaining MOSFET should be turned off. So to turn on this MOSFET, what will be done? This is the SRAM cell, right? This is SRAM which can store 1 bit. So in this SRAM cell we will store binary 1. Binary 1 means plus 5 volt. So 5 volt is connected to the gate, so this MOSFET is turned on. And for the remaining MOSFET we will store 0 in the SRAM cell. We will store 0 in the SRAM cell. So all the MOSFETs are off. It looks like this, right? Here this is on MOSFET and this MOSFET off, this MOSFET off, this MOSFET is off, this MOSFET is off, and this MOSFET is off. So now routing is done between wire coming from the top to the wire which is in the bottom. In this way this connection is established. So this is about the routing logic, right? Now in next lecture we will see what is there in CLB, right? Already I told you in CLB there is lookup table to store our logic. So how our logic will be stored in that lookup table, right? So that we will discuss in next class.